I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Rome Pre-Owned Sales, located at 949 Floyd Avenue in Rome. If you're in the market for a quality pre-owned vehicle and great customer service, make sure you check them out. A special thank you to General Manager Anthony Mariani for his support of the Rockpile Sports Network and local sports here in the Mohawk Valley. Your sponsorship truly helps us continue to highlight our athletes, coaches, and teams. If you or your business are interested in sponsoring the Rockpile Sports Network, feel free to reach out to me directly at coachkorg23@gmail.com. Let's welcome everybody to the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch here on Sunday morning. Welcome, everybody, to the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. This is the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch, where spotlight shines on our local athletes, our communities, our programs. And today we're bringing championship energy to your Sunday. I'm sure everybody's watching the USA Olympic team. I just turned it on, so you guys are going to have to let me know the score here throughout. I know it's 1-0 at the end of one, so please keep me posted. Today, we're going to be talking to the Section 3 Division I Player of the Year, Jacob Bruno of RFA Boys Hockey. He'll join me here in just a few minutes. We're going inside the mindset, inside the preparation, and inside the moments that define RFA season, who they will play again next week at home against Cazenovia. What does it take to rise above the rest? We're going to find out, and the hardwood's heating up too. I'm excited to welcome to the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. Directors Brandon McCaskill and Rich Bohning are set to join me at the bottom of the hour as the Girls Valentine Basketball League is back. So from the rink to the hardwood, step back, enjoy the show here, and we'll get everybody on here in just a few moments. I want to run through some of the boys' scores in basketball. The sectional playoffs have also started. The boys, the girls, and hockey have started. On the boys' side, Watertown beat Whitesboro 71-58. Marcellus over Sherburne Earlville 66-48. Frankfurt Schuyler over McGraw 77-70. Town of Webb beats Alexandria 79-47. Dodgeville over APW 79-47. Henniger beat Auburn 60-51. Cazenovia beat Holland Patton 70-68. Cooperstown undefeated season continues. They moved to 21-0. They beat Citizenship and Science Academy 98-66. Congratulations to our guy Pags. Notre Dame upset Faith Heritage in the opening round 64-60. They will play Cato Meridian next week. Herkimer beat Adirondack 59-35. Wheatsport beats Sandy Creek. As the Statman says, where seasons go to die. Tully beats Waterville 69-53, and capping it out in Class C. Cato Meridian, as I said, they will play Notre Dame next week. Cato Meridian moves to 19-2 as they beat Beaver River. On the girls' side, Dodgeville over Sandy Creek 43-38. West Canada Valley's dream season continues. On the girls' side, they go to 20-1 with a win over Cato Meridian. Frankfurt Schuyler girls, nice season going as well. They moved to 19-1 with a win over Morrisville Eaton. Weedsport 66-37 over Lafayette. Tully over Cooperstown. Clinton over Jordan Elbridge 60-25. And locally, Oriskany Westmoreland beat Lowville 54-45. On the boys' side in hockey, Rome Free Academy, as I said, they will play next week. They will get a rematch with Kaz. A lot of people have been talking about the West Jetty matchup. We'll talk to Jacob Bruno here in just a little bit. But Cazenovia got the best of Rome Free Academy 2-0 the first time. They'll get a rematch next week. That game will be played right here locally in Rome. So we'll see if Rome can bounce back and punch their ticket to another Section 3 final. Skinny Atlas will play New Hartford. That game is also next week. Those games are both on Wednesday. So I believe we have Jacob on a little early. We're going to bring him on because I don't want to keep him waiting. Jacob, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Are you have a game this morning, right? Did you play yet, or are you playing after this?
No, we play at 11.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. You getting a chance to watch any of the USA game going on?
Yeah, we were just watching the locker room. Big USA goal up 1-0. Me and the team are pretty excited.
Yeah, hopefully they can pull that off. I kind of have it on in my background, so I'm trying to watch and do this at the same time this morning. Well, listen, first off, we'll get into the season. I want to congratulate you where you were just named a Division One Section 3 Player of the Year. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, first of all. I mean, it's a huge honor. Growing up as a kid who always went to all the RFA games and just, seeing all the great players that have come through here, it means a lot. But that being said, it also shows what my teammates have done because I didn't get this by myself. So, I also want to thank them, my family as well, for putting me in the positions they have, and my coaches as well.
I always like to go back and look at records here over the last 4 to 5 seasons, and I had to go back and look at RFA hockey because I know everybody in Rome, including myself. I always say Rome sports are really good when RFA hockey's good, football's good, everybody's good again in Rome. And I look back and I looked over 4 seasons. Hockey's 65, 16, and 5. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So I would be one to say hockey's back here in Rome, right?
We've definitely had some good seasons here the past few years, just looking to keep it going.
So was there a moment this year where you said, because every team's different, right? Last year you guys made a great run too to the Section 3 finals, and this year we're all hoping you guys get back there again with a chance to win one. Was there a moment this year where you said this team's different than last year?
Honestly, yeah, I'd say the Ithaca game, even though it resulted in a loss, I thought with prior groups, losing, we didn't lose many games, but the games we lost, a lot of blame game going on, a lot of, sad. But I thought we really worked through that game. We were down 2-0 and we came back. We ended up losing, unfortunately, but the team really stuck together, worked through the adversity. So I think that's something that is going to be big come as the playoffs keep going on. So I think that was huge.
So you guys picked up win number 17 against a good FM team. You guys will get another rematch with Kaz, who got you guys the first time. But I want to ask you about the identity of this team too. Again, comparing it to last year's team, what's been the identity for this team?
I mean, we just try to be confident every time we're on the ice. We're confident that we're the best team. We've got a lot of talented guys, top to bottom. You got quite a few guys with a lot of points, but even the guys with not many points, they're making a big impact. So we understand that every time we step into the rink, we believe we're the better team, and we just have to go and show that.
So, as one of the leaders on this team, you just mentioned there's a lot of different leaders on this team, and leaders lead from different ways. How do you keep this team focused in the locker room? As you guys had a great regular season, a great season last year, but now when you get into sectionals, everybody's 0-0. It's a whole new season. How do you keep everybody focused?
I mean, it's just focusing on the goal here. I mean, obviously, we want to take it one step at a time, one game at a time. But we also understand, like I said, having a great team that we could do some really great things this year. So just, every game being mentally locked in for, there's gonna be good times, bad times, like sports as it is. So just mentally locked in and physically being present, I think.
And it's hard to believe you're a senior. And I always say these years go by so fast. And have you had time to really reflect and say to yourself, like, this is the last run you're going to have putting on that Black Knight uniform?
Yeah, I've definitely done some thinking about it recently. And as sad as it is for it to end, I think it's gone relatively well. I wouldn't change anything that's happened. Obviously two unfortunate sectional losses, but we got a shot at it here once again. So I just try to stay in the present moment.
And speaking of those two Section 3 losses, you guys get back there the last couple years and obviously didn't end the way you guys wanted it to end. But how does losses like that, and let's even take the loss because I think a lot of people are overlooking saying that it should be you guys in West Jenny, but you guys get a really good Caz team that beat you guys the first time. So how much has that has fueled you guys heading into sectionals?
Absolutely. I'll say every time that a loss means more than a win. The things that a loss will teach you, you truly can't learn from a win. Whether that's like the sectional losses, what that brought to us during the off season, the motivation to continue to get better and get back there, or the midseason loss to Cavs. We got another shot at them. A great team with a couple all stars, a goalie who stonewalled us last time. So we're motivated and we just want to get back there.
How much do you guys think about some of those losses to to Jenny and take the Cavs one this year? Does that sit in the back of your guys' mind, or is it just take whatever games in front of you?
Yeah, so I'd say, at least personally for me, they sit in the mind during the off season, but as soon as the season starts, it's game time. You get there, like I said, just take it one game at a time. So you don't want to really focus on the past, more in the present moment. But I mean, obviously, it's always there. It's an unfortunate loss to have. But like I said, we got another shot at this thing. We got a great team this year, so we're just going to go out and put the best foot forward.
So let's talk personally this year, and you were just named a Division One, Section Three Player of the Year. When you reflect back on RFA and your time there in the uniform, what do you think you're going to be most proud of?
Ooh, that's a good question. I hope the thing I'm most proud of probably would be the impact I made on the community. It means a lot to see the kids come out because I remember being a kid myself, watching all these great players grow up. So to see them come out to the games and truly enjoy to be there and love hockey, like you do as a kid, it's awesome to see. And hopefully that will continue to grow through the RFA program and bring some players for the future.
My son, who's normally he's only in eighth grade, but he's normally a football, basketball, baseball guy. Went to a couple of your guys' home games and came back and said, "Dad, I should have played hockey at a young age." He goes, "That Kennedy Arena was rocking, and the home crowd advantage is unbelievable." Talk to us about what it's like playing in that arena.
This community in Rome, man, it's something else. I mean, whenever you're an away team coming into Kennedy Arena, especially during sectionals, I wouldn't want to be you because this community comes out, they're loud, they support. Truly thanks to everyone coming out for different games, long season, but we always tend to have for every game a great support. And it definitely helps motivate us. They bring us energy. In that FM game down one goal, they were still loud and they were still showing up, supporting. So, then we eventually got that goal, and then just to hear the crowd get into it's something special.
So you've showed up at some of younger guys' games to watch some hockey in the community, and I think that's fantastic. I think it's great to see the older guys come back and watch some of the young guys, and that means a lot to these young kids, really, in any sport. So if some of those young kids are watching you right now and listening to this, what advice would you give them as they get older?
I would say, if you got a goal or a dream, you got to chase it, but don't chase it, 3, 4 days a week. You got to give it everything that you physically have. It's going to take sacrifices. It's going to take days that you don't want to put in the work, but you got to do it for the goal.
And Jacob, what's on store for you at the next level?
Still weighing out the options. I'm currently playing junior hockey for the Utica Junior Comets Premier Team right now. In order to play the collegiate hockey, most coaches want to see, juniors until you're about 19, 20 years old. So I'm weighing between that and going off to study aviation to be a commercial pilot.
Wow, good for you. Well, listen, we'll be there next week at the game against Kaz, man. Good luck to you. Keep this thing going. Let's get back to a Section 3 and let's win a Section 3 title. But proud of you, man. You do it the right way in the community as well. Keep it going.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. Good luck today, too.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You got it. So that was RFA Hockey standout Jacob Bruno. And, all these local athletes that I've had on, so good to talk to the young kids because he's one of many. They give back to the community and, a lot of stories. And I follow hockey. It's a sport. I follow all the sports in Rome. And so many people have reached out to me and said he does more for the community, going to watch a lot of the young kids play and show up at different sporting events. And I think that means so much to the young kids here, not even just in Rome, just across the Mohawk Valley and beyond. So, but they'll have their hands full. I don't think anybody was looking ahead the saying, "Hey, we're going to get back and play West Jenny." West Jenny's got to play Baldensville. I think that's a good team, and RFA's got to come back and find a way to beat Kaz that beat them the first time next week. So let's pull for them. It's right here at the Kennedy Arena next week. So I want to go through. I just went through, and I'll wait for Rich and Brandon McCaskill to come on. So on the boys' side, the next round of playoff games for boys on the basketball side are all the RFA teams are home next week. I think the only team that's actually on the road, I believe, is the girls basketball, where they travel to Liverpool. But RFA Hoops gets another shot at Proctor on Tuesday night. That game is at RFA. I believe that game's at 6:00. We'll post it, but I do believe it's at 6. Remember this is RFA got him the first time down at Proctor. Proctor got him the second time at RFA. So this should be a really good game Proctor's 10-9 on the season. RFA's at 14-6. In Class D quarterfinals, the town of Webb will play Madison. Madison's 17-4. The town of Webb is 13-8. Other ones in Class D, Copenhagen's 14-6. They'll play DeRuyter. That's 18-3. Belleville Henderson will play at Sackett's Harbor, who's 18-3. Carthage will play at Nottingham. Nottingham having a really good season. They're 18-2. And we just had Coach Mark Smith of Oriskany. Well, they're 16-2. They will play home against Brookfield on Tuesday. Games on Wednesday, Central Square will play Fulton. That's the Class AA quarterfinals. West Jenny will play Henninger. That's also the Section 3 Class 2A. Indian River will play West Hill. West Hill's perfect season continues. They are 20-0 as they look to punch their ticket to the Class A Section 3 title. Central Valley will play Jamesville DeWitt. Congratulations. We had Coach Judd on here early in the season. Actually, I should say early in the season. We had him on here not too long ago. They're 18-3. New Hartford, they will play South Jefferson. Institute of Technology, they will play Phoenix. Marcellus will play Herkimer. Lowville's going to play General Brown. Mount Markham having a really good season as well. They're 19-2 in Class B. They will play Solvay. Skinny Atlas will play Cazenovia. Dodgeville will play Tully. And Cooperstown takes that perfect season into the Section 3 quarterfinals against Onondaga. Those games are Tuesday and Wednesday. On the girls' side, we'll flip over to them. Some games on Tuesday. Jamesville DeWitt will play CVA. New Hartford will play VVS. Cazenovia will play Skinny Atlas. Frankfurt Schuyler takes a great 19-1 season. They will play Port Byron at home. Hamilton will play Tully. Weedsport will play Dodgeville. West Canada Valley will play Onondaga. Nottingham will play Carthage. Fulton will play FM. Oswego will play Whitesboro. On Wednesday, Rome Free Academy, as I said, they are the only Rome team that will be on the road. They will play at Liverpool. That game is scheduled for 5:30. Henninger will play Central Square. Marcellus will play General Brown. CBA will play Mexico. And then Fabius Pompey will play Watertown IHC. Teams in action on Thursday. These teams had byes locally. Notre Dame, they will play Chittenango on Thursday night. That game's at 6:30. Congratulations to Coach Snyder and the team. They will play Chittenango. Copenhagen will play Poland, and capping it off will be Little Falls will play Clinton. Clinton having a good season. They are 14-9. On the hockey side, I said there'll be some good games. RFA was 2-1 winners over FM early last week. They came back. They trailed 1-0 in that game. Tuesday games, West Jenny will play Baldwinsville. As I said, many think it'll be West Jenny and Rome Free Academy, the two top seeds. But West Jenny's got to get through Baldwinsville that's had a good year. In Whitesboro, in the Division 2, they will play Clinton. On Wednesday, New Hartford will play Skinny Atlas in the D2 game. And as we just talked to Jacob Bruno, the Division 1 side, Cazenovia at 14-5-2. They beat Rome Free Academy 2-0 late in the season. They will play RFA that's sitting at 17-3-1. So it should be a fun time. It's hard to believe we're already in sectional play here across the Mohawk Valley for basketball, both on the boys and girls side, and then the same thing for boys hockey as well. So we'll be cheering on all the Rome teams. So I had the USA hockey game was going on here as while I was doing this podcast. It was 1-0. So you guys are going to have to keep me posted on the score. I think the second period just started. I think it's still 1-0, but congratulations on the girls' side as the women's hockey won the gold medal as well by defeating Canada 2-1. They were trailing as well. So in just a little bit, we'll be talking to the directors of the Women's Valentine League here in Rome. We'll be talking to Brandon McCaskill and Coach Rich Bohning. They're both going to jump on with me here shortly. I think we got Coach Bohning sitting in the back room here waiting. We'll give it a couple minutes and see if Coach McCaskill will be joining here in just a little bit. But the Girls League was fantastic to have it back. The teams were great. We had, I believe it was 3 or 4 teams, and the guys can speak to this. We had 3 Rome teams in the 5th and 6th grade division. The 3rd and 4th grade teams, I believe we had 3 from Rome as well. We had some out of district teams. It was 2 Rome teams that did win the championship. It was the 2 purple teams, so it's good to keep the championship right here in Rome. But it was a lot of success, a lot of hard work that went into putting the league on. So I see Coach McCaskill just joined it as well. So we're not going to keep these guys waiting any longer. Gentlemen, what's going on?
How's it going?
Well,
good
it's
morning.
going pretty good this morning. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well.
I was trying to, I have my TV on going in front of me. So I keep looking up to see the score of the hockey game. I know it's still 1-0. I believe the United States are still winning, but people are like, "You're doing your show at 9:00. The hockey game's on." I said, "Listen, the show must go on. I got to keep rolling here." Good to have you on, gentlemen.
Hey,
Thanks for having us, Rock.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. So let's start off, and I'll open up with some questions, and you guys can kind of jump in on how you want to answer the questions or who wants to answer it. But first off, it was good to have the league back on this year for the girls, and I guess I'll ask you guys both the question: What made you guys both decide it was time to bring the league back?
Well, I mean, really the numbers. Girls basketball numbers have been down the last few years. We just want to really have a successful program, and usually that starts at the youth levels. Something that the Valentine League just in the years in past really helped us. I mean, you've seen it this year. We had over 60 Rome kids playing. I mean, for the first year, I mean, that was great, and if you want to have a successful program, it has to start at the youth level.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, and you kind of just answered my question, but how important was it to get this league back up and running? And you talk about so many girls that were playing in the first year of it, and then you guys bring in some of the outside teams. It was some really good competition. But how important was it to bring this league back?
Hey, Rock, can you hear me okay?
I got you loud and clear.
Okay. So just to echo what Rich is saying, just the numbers that we've been seeing at the varsity and junior varsity level for girls basketball were really down. And you've got other sports that were really starting to invest in the youth. And, Rich reached out and we had a little discussion, and we really needed to start focusing on what could we do to help John Rowland's not on today, but he was really the center point of the Valentine League, which they ran for so many years. And we definitely just needed to start focusing on getting back into the youth, as Rich said, and really introducing these kids to the game that we all, love, and giving them the opportunity for an affordable price. And, it was year one, but getting some people that understand the game and getting the involvement so that these young 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders could learn the game from a professional, or, from a real level, and then understanding that there is opportunity to play at the, whether it be modified level or JV varsity going forward. But getting kids involved to begin with is the most important thing.
And I know every league has its challenges of getting up and running, and year one's always the hardest, and then maintaining it and trying to grow it will be even tougher for you guys. But what were some of the biggest challenges in getting the league back up and running?
I mean, it's really just letting the community know what our plan was, getting the, I want to say flyers, but it's been kind of hard. Like, schools don't really do flyers anymore. So we really had to get it basically like a street team. We did some trick or treat streets in October, obviously at Halloween time, just trying to get the message out. We reached out to, our network of coaches, players, people in the community, growing up in Rome, which everybody, right? So I think once the word started getting out, we got some really, good people behind it. It kind of blew up from there, but one of the biggest issues I think was just the, getting the word out there. We created a website, which I think was tremendous. And then, like I said, we each of us, and, I do want to bring up John Rowland because he's a very important piece to this puzzle too. He's not on today. But without John's help, I mean, this really wouldn't have really even gotten off. It's just a lot of the little stuff that behind the scenes people don't really realize. The phone calls, dealing with issues when they do arise. But, John did a great job on that aspect of it too. And then, like I said, we just put in a lot of footwork, let the community know our plans, our expectations. And also just to let them know, like, this wasn't about any type of money. Like I think we sponsored like 20 kids this year. We had a great base from our community sponsors, which I do want to give a big shout out to Big J's in Rome and Marcy. J and P, I mean, they've been a big part of this community, and they don't really get the support that they should, because a lot of, small businesses are the reason Rome is where it's at. They're the first ones that always step up and help. And, them being our major sponsor, it just took a lot of, stress off our shoulders. We were able to do more with more. So at the end of the day, it really was a full community effort here. Even getting you involved, Rock. I mean, it's just a knowledgeable coach coming in. And, I did the 3rd and 4th grade. Obviously my team won the championship this year, but just giving these kids, like Brandon said, a solid structure and a solid, inspirational coach, it really does, wonders for this. And, I'm looking forward to, obviously next year at the modified level, to see all those new 6th graders. I mean, there was I want to say like 50% of the 6th graders this year were first-time basketball players. Yeah. Now, I know that's kind of crazy to say that, especially for Rome, but, that's an accomplishment. Our numbers, even at modified, I mean, they were running, I think, 8 on each team. I mean, and I don't think people understand, we're AAA. This is Rome. I mean, our numbers should not be this bad. We don't even have really tryouts anymore, so we do feel that, we're in the right direction. We wanted to introduce basketball to just a new generation of kids, which I think is important at the 3rd and 4th grade level to introduce it, because if you introduce it and the kids love it, they're going to get better. So, to go back to the struggle parts of it, just getting all together, the AD, I do want to give a big shout out to the AD, because he was a big supporter of the league, obviously letting us use the school gyms and stadium support. That was a big help. So definitely want to give a shout out to the AD.
Yeah, we'll give Aaron Carey a shout out. Aaron's done a good job, and he's had some challenges in his first couple years here in Rome, but hats off to him. So was there ever a time you guys looked back and said maybe this was going to be tougher than what you guys both expected it?
From my standpoint, I think I looked at it as the complete opposite. We thought we were going to be struggling to get things, launched over again. We were expecting a lot less teams, a lot less numbers, and it kind of flipped. It was, things started as we networked and talked to people, more and more people started getting interested. Because let's be real, it's not just Rome that's struggling with youth sports and kids getting involved. It's the Oneida County. So when people were jumping on board, it was really just kind of took us by surprise. It made things a little easier. It was just a matter of filtering the teams and getting the practice spaces and things of that nature. But on my note, I mean, I think it was a complete flip.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you guys, how important was it to bring in, some of the outside district teams? In addition, we had the Rome teams, but there was some really good competition from out of area. But how important was it to mix in some of those teams this year?
I think that was one of our main points. To build a rivalry, it helps these kids. It helps the determination to get better by bringing in, Camden, VBS, Oneida, and even Canastota. It gave just another element to the league. And just touching base on what Brandon said, other organizations and other school districts are struggling. I mean, Camden hasn't had a youth team in a while. So when we reached out to Mason and we were like, hey, this is our plan, he's like, we're in, because again, everybody's trying to build their program, and across the board, I mean, look at Westmoreland and Oriskany. They combined, the numbers in basketball are down. And I don't think it's because of the sport in general. I think it's because, field hockey is coming up. You got volleyball, especially in Rome, has taken off. So you have these other sports that are understanding you have to start young. I mean, if you grab these kids in 3rd and 4th grade, and it's not about having these kids specialize in one sport, because I'm a firm believer, play as many sports as you can. You never know what's out there until you experience it. But it seems like we started taking a back burner to that. And, you can see it, like a kid going into 7th grade has to have some structure of basketball to really excel. I mean, we were getting kids that are playing modified, and we were actually pulling soccer kids and great athletes, don't get me wrong, but to learn the game in 7th grade, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. So I think getting the out of town teams involved, it gave some more stability to the league, something more to look forward to. I know the rivalries versus Oneida were big. So, it's just another element to the league. And at the end of the day, it was great playing Rome versus Rome. But when those out-of-town teams come in there and those parents, there's nothing like that feeling. The gyms were – I mean, I love our JV and varsity teams, but I think we might have had more packed gyms sometimes. These games were very, very good. So, we look forward to the future.
Yeah, we had some good crowds, that's for sure, especially the championship games. My daughter said to me, Dad, she goes, is it always like this as you get older with crowds like this? So that was pretty special. But you bring up a good point, Rich. One of the things I was going to ask you guys is, back in the day when I played, we didn't have all these indoor sports complex. So when it was basketball, you played basketball, baseball, you played baseball, football, you played football. And nowadays with, the accelerates, the elevates, and there's more indoor, hopefully we're going to get one here in Rome where kids can play one sport if they want to play one sport all year round. What's your guys' thoughts on, the sportsplexes, and you think that's hurt some of the sports today?
I think it's a little bit of it's kind of both ways. I think it gives kids an opportunity to play the sport they love year round, as you alluded to. But at the same time, I'm a true believer in a multi-sport athlete. Both my children played multiple sports, and I think it just makes you better. But also, it gives you that opportunity to get some specialized coaching for somebody in these with these sports plexes. If they've got knowledgeable coaches there that can help you individualize and strengthen your game, then all more power to you. But I think if it's done for the right reasons, I think it could be very helpful to a community. But you've always got the flip side where if it just becomes a business, then you have that side too.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. I think, obviously it's great to have these facilities, right? Like to go to Accelerate, you see these big tournaments, and you get the kids. It's another level of playing, right? You're bringing in different like Albany teams, Syracuse teams, so you get to definitely experience a little bit more. But I think the specialized starts coming in too early. Like I see kids in like 5th and 6th grade, and their bodies aren't healing either. They're playing basketball all year round. 11, 12 months out of the year. And playing those other sports, it's affecting other muscles, right? So if you take off for a couple of months, and it's not like you're sitting home doing nothing, and you're playing maybe soccer now, and then maybe now your conditioning's getting better. So I definitely think there is pros and cons of having these facilities, and I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. But like Brandon said, at the end of the day, I mean, these are big businesses. I mean, multi-million-dollar structures and facilities. So it's you got to have, a little bit of both, I think, so I definitely feel that it is a plus. Having these facilities enables us, especially when you're short on gym spots, to have another option. But again, I like to get back to kids playing multiple sports. Let's get these, these soccer kids playing basketball. Let's get these basketball kids playing football. Let's work together, because at the end of the day, Rome is home, right? So we got to do what's best for the community as a whole, not individuals, and I think that's what we've been doing wrong the last few years, is just focusing on, one group of kids and not building a community as a whole of athletes, because listen, Rome is special. People don't understand, like we have the talent. Some, are a little rough around the edges, which, we're working on those kids. But we have what it takes to be Section 3 champions, at multiple. So not just, I was watching the post of Jacob Bruno, not just hockey. I mean, you look at girls and boys basketball, you look at these other sport, field hockey, we have a target on our backs, man. And it's not just Utica Rome area. It's Syracuse too. We're going to Liverpool on Wednesday for this girls game. And as Brandon, that's going to be a battle. And Liverpool doesn't want to play us, and we don't want to play Liverpool. So that's going to be a big time game. So, hopefully as this keeps going forward, we can keep developing these relationships, and, we can really get that Section 3 title, because that's really what we're shooting for. This is great having a youth program. Me and Brandon, John, we all put a lot of pride in the Valentine League. But at the end of the day, this is to help our school districts programs. This is to make sure that these JV, varsity, modified, they have the tools to succeed. And, I hope in my lifetime we can see a couple banners come up, maybe even a state title, because I think that'd be a great accomplishment.
Yeah, I was just telling Jacob Bruno, I said, back in the day, it was nice when you could say, well, RFA hockey was really good, basketball was good, football was good, like baseball. So, like, everything in Rome was really good. So it'd be nice to see all that slowly, work their way back. But you're right, Rich. I mean, back in the day, those sports were always at the top. And it's nice to see you guys getting this thing back up and running. So the other question I wanted to ask you guys, too, is, was there a moment this season where you guys both sat back and said, you know what, this is why we brought this thing back? Like, did you guys have that one moment each, or maybe a couple moments that you could say that as the season progressed?
Rock, it's funny that you say that, because probably about week 3, first got the first taste of what was going on. Okay, this is working. Then about halfway through, it really started heading.
He might have got.
Yeah, we might have lost some. I'll pick up on that. So hopefully where Brandon, I think, was going with this, it was cool. We actually had a conversation about this last week. It kind of full circle, right? So at the championship game, I have a daughter that plays JV, and I have a daughter that graduated last year. She was on varsity. And obviously, Brandon's daughter's our JV coach now, former varsity player, Brandon's son. So they were working the tables for us during the season and stuff. Obviously, my daughter was an assistant coach on my team. And the full circle moment where we knew, like, man, this worked, is when we see our kids giving back now. So now it's not just us giving back, it's the next generation. So
100%.
That right there, man, when we talked about that and we seen that, we're like, Rich, we did something special here, something that, it doesn't even just lie with us, right? Like it's could be something that can go on for the next 20, 30 years. So it's like a generation thing now. And, I do want to give a shout out to, some of our girl varsity players that helped us out with the league. We had Zamora Council, Asmira Mancour. She was actually our guest announcer for the championship game. Bella Cunningham was helping out a lot too. We have Aubrey Bohning and McKenna Gallardo. And I think that's where I knew that it was really working. When you get these kids coming back to, a development program and giving their time, and, having a smile on their face and kind of relating with those younger kids. I mean, how many of those kids, their favorite player was Mia Vecchio? You know what I mean? Like these varsity kids are coming to watch a 4th grader play basketball. Like, that's amazing, So I have to say, that's when we know, like, we got something special here, and it's definitely working.
And Rich, how about for year 2? I know you guys probably will be getting underway with trying to plan for year 2, but for year 2, are there any new plans to bring in even more teams, more divisions, more grades? Any of that thought process started yet?
Yeah, so we actually are starting. It was weird. Like right after the championship game, stuff started rolling in for next year. We actually got a bunch of sponsors that actually reached out to us that want to help out. We're actually going to work with the Wattis Foundation. Hopefully, we can get a nice grant. Our goal is to have a free league. Now, what that means, we don't really know yet. We might still have like a raffle or something, but our goal is to get every girl in Rome signed up for youth basketball. That's our goal. Now, can we reach that? I don't know. It's going to take some time. But we want to make it just something special. We've had some other out-of-town teams. We've had a Whitesboro reach out to us, a Holland Patton. So, going into next season, we want to, really just keep steamrolling off the progression that we've hit this year. And really, try to get the numbers up a little bit more. Maybe we can get to like at least 4 teams per division for Rome. I do feel that we're going to focus on that 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th grade. I know in the past, Valentine also did some older levels. But this new Valentine League, we really want to just focus on the youth. We want to have our resources just put into that. And especially with our numbers at the older divisions being down, if a kid still wants to learn the game, coaches are especially at the modified JV and varsity levels are getting those kids involved. And there's multiple spaces and numbers available for that. So I think, going into next year, you're going to see a lot of the same things, a lot of the same people. We want to make sure we have some really solid coaches coming back. And just try to get maybe a couple more teams involved, and really that's really it. Maybe I do want to try to maybe like an all-star game. I thought would have been pretty cool. Maybe like a foul shooting contest, maybe some definitely some individual stuff and awards and stuff. But overall, we want to just have consistency. We want to this is what you're going to get every year. What you're going to get, and ensure these kids are getting better.
Yeah, I mean that's the key. I know I was telling a couple people that that followed us and were at our game. I said, the winning was nice, but I'll tell you what made me feel even better, and this as a coach, was I took from day one where we started until that very last game, and I was like, wow, our girls really improved tremendously. And for me, as a coach, and we know this, that's the goal, right? The goal is,
Right.
you want to win games, but to see the improvements that all the girls, all the teams,
That's the key.
made from, and half of my team had never played basketball before. And I know a lot of your girls, some of them haven't played basketball before. So to go from day one to where we ended as the league, progress, that meant the world to me.
Absolutely. And you hit it on the key right there. It's not just your top couple kids, right? I always look at, your 8th, 9th, 10th kid. I mean, if you can get those kids better and those kids re-sign up next year, then you did a good job.
Yep.
I pride myself on just making sure that 1 through 10 are getting better every day. A lot of coaches, sometimes they, 1, 2, 3, 4, those top kids, they're really focusing their energy on. But you're only as good as your weakest link at the end of the day. So I strive for that. And, like I said, there's a lot of smiles on these kids' faces at the end. There's some tears, don't get me wrong. Some kids were upset that it was over. But the calls that we're getting, what's next? It's the championship game it's just being over. And then we're getting parents coming up to us. Hey, is there something going on next week? What's next for us? We don't want to stop, so, yeah, I think it went well.
Even for the Rome girls, I kept telling our girls, when you play these out of district teams and even in the tournaments, Rich, because you've hosted a lot of those tournaments, you're playing all-star teams. You're playing the best of those teams. It's if Rome would put together one good team or 2 teams, we probably could have had really good teams. But we're split up into 3 or 4 teams, and these give these girls the opportunity as they get older. They're going to play together their entire career, and that's what I think a lot of the kids have to get over. Because there might be games in these AU tournaments where you might find yourself on the wrong side of it. But if they stay together and just realize how important it is that it's just a Rome team playing against some of these all-star teams, that's important too as they get older, right?
I agree to that. I mean, and then also roles. I think, Leslie Cup was our MVP this year. Leslie's a phenomenal player, 6th grader. She's always been a 2nd, 3rd scorer. And this year, by her being able to lead her team, I think it gives her another switch. I can do this too. I can be a number 1 option. So I think the Valentine also prepares them for that. It's great to play team basketball, right? That's the only way to win at a high level. But sometimes kids just need that confidence to know that, I'm that player too, and sometimes you get lost in the shuffle of positions and stuff like that. But I think the way that she led that team and, they were able to beat Oneida, that's huge. That's huge. And Rock, you hit it on the head right there. We put all those Rome kids on one team. They're not losing a game. They're not. So I think, it's giving the opportunity of getting these second tier kids ready. Cause my big thing is, how do you judge a kid in third, fourth, and fifth and sixth grade what their rest of their basketball career is going to be like, right? I can name so many kids that I've coached that were the best kids in fifth and sixth grade and ended up not even playing varsity basketball. So I think by us putting, this effort into these new players, I mean, you had the Ivy kid girl on your team. I mean, came out of nowhere. This girl, she's going to be a very good player, So I think, yes, it would be great to have all those kids on a travel team. We could have gone and played in another league and probably won every game and won another title. But, there's a difference between getting 10 girls to play basketball and getting 30 to 40 girls playing basketball, So I think, as we go forward, yes, there will be opportunities to get those girls starting to gel together, like obviously in the offseason, AAU and stuff. But I think numbers wise and, trying to get the progression on the skills level wise, this worked, man. This worked.
So, guys, I got two more questions for you. One of them, you guys have talked a lot about the community. How can we get the community support to help grow this league?
So just just a huge thank you to the community for the folks that are involved. The big thing is just continue talking about it, involving the small businesses, involving the parents. We're always looking for volunteers, whether it be coaching, whether it be just somebody there to help moderate or hand out flyers, or we've had people there that were handing out, volunteered to provide services for just to have food and drink there. There's always something they can do. So we just encourage as much involvement as possible. We're obviously looking for the right people on all aspects, but we're welcoming more and more to the community, because let's be real here. Without the community support, we don't exist.
I agree on that. Just obviously the business sponsorships have definitely took this to a whole nother level. And I think as the notoriety, as we start, letting everybody know that we are back, for year two, I think you're going to see more coaches come out of the woodworks. I think listen, at the end of the day, there's nothing like coaching third and fourth and fifth and sixth grade basketball. I mean, I've coached all different age kids. To coach third and fourth grade basketball this year, it just puts it all back in perspective, and to help those kids achieve. And I mean, I had a couple kids that couldn't even reach the rim, right? And by the end of the season, when they made like their first shot, and I'm talking about practice, the joy that you see in these kids' eyes, there's nothing like that, man. And to make a difference and to give them, and listen, some of these kids might never play school basketball, right? But you gave them an option to belong to something. And I think that's what we were missing as a community. Like, we're the friend base. We got kids that made new friends. And at the end of the day, sports isn't just about getting better at, athletically. It's about social. That's a big thing. That's why I got my kids involved with sports is a social thing. Kids don't know how to talk to each other anymore, right? So, I mean, if they're not sending a text to each other, they get awkward, social awkwardness. So I think, having more of that is going to help. I think getting more of the school district on board, I think will help too, because I think at the end of the day, we're all fighting the same cause. And I think we have to understand that. Like, this isn't like one person versus another. This is all of us coming together and doing what's right for the town. I think we got to realize that. But just to go from there, we've had a great response from like the elementary school principals. Hopefully, this is one of my big things. If we can get the numbers back to where we can have a Denty team, a Bellamy team, a Gansevoort team, a Stokes, a Ridge Mill, I think that would be great, because there's no like school-based teams anymore, right? Like, and it's almost like a school pride thing. Like, we want to bring that back. My team was the Purple Bellamy Bulldogs team. I mean, this is because my daughter 10 years ago, we had 15 kids sign up, all from Bellamy, and we were the Bellamy Bulldogs. So I wanted to bring that back, and I took all the Bellamy kids this year. I think in order to grow this, we just need just a little bit more support from the community and from the school district. And I think this can be great, man. I mean, we can have 100 kids, no problem.
So I will tell you guys, I had more fun coaching girls basketball than I've had coaching any boys sport that I've coached in the last probably 20 years. It was absolutely awesome. I said to my wife, I said, I don't know why I didn't coach girls sports years ago. It was really, really fun to do it. And it's a tough age, right? That third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade is a really tough age, especially
Yeah.
when you get the girls that haven't played basketball before. We were really teaching the basics and the fundamentals, but it was awesome. And Rich, you had it right on the head. To see girls smile after doing things they couldn't do most of the year was really, really cool to see. So I definitely agree with you guys there. So last thing I got for you guys, if there's a young girl watching right now thinking about playing next year, what do you tell them?
Go sign up. Sign ups are live right now on our website. You want to experience a good group of kids, just a great atmosphere, and you want to meet some new friends and learn the great game of basketball. Come on out, try us out. I guarantee you'll love it. And it can open the door to a lot of opportunity for you, whether it being travel in the off season or just maybe even introducing to other sports, So I say if you're a girl in your third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade and your parents are looking for some activity for you, try out the Valentine League, and I guarantee that you will be happy.
Go ahead,
And
Brandon.
just to echo what Rich says, all great points, but don't let anything let you don't let there be an excuse. We will turn no child away. Absolutely no child away. You are all welcome, and you will be introduced to this great game that all of us so much loved and enjoy playing, coaching. And we've got, like you've mentioned before, there's much involvement from the varsity program, the JV program, some of the kids coming back and coaching that are former players. So it's an introduction to a social aspect in learning the game. But don't let anything tell you no. We're there. We're going to be here. We're looking at longevity, and we're looking to have as many girls that are interested come on board. And if you have any questions, see the website, and we can be contacted through there as well if you have any additional questions.
Well, guys, listen, I appreciate you jumping on with me here this morning. Means a lot. Great job in year one. Thanks for letting me be part of it, and hopefully you guys let me back for year two, because I'll be ready to go, guys. But great job this year. Great job all around.
Yeah, Rock, thank you very much for helping us out. I mean, obviously, you were a great addition to the coaching staff. Thank you for giving us this opportunity on your platform, just to, express our appreciation of the league and the community. Again, just want to give a couple shout outs real quick. John Rowland, everything you do, and just everybody, man. It really takes a lot of people to run something like this. And without everybody's support, from the top to bottom. I mean, I know we might be the faces of this, but if it wasn't for everybody, we wouldn't have been able to get this to go. So, I mean, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from everybody, because this is going to be a staple for a long time in the community. So I'm really happy to be a part of this, and I'm looking forward to the future and see what all this brings in the next couple of years.
Nice job, guys. Appreciate you. Go watch the rest of the Olympic. I think it's 1-1. I think we're tied at the end of two. I gotta go see it.
All right.
Thank
you for having
Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
You too. So cool to have both those guys on, and they did a really, really good job this year and getting the league up and running. It was great, and everything they said. We got to get more community members involved to get this thing going even more in year two. And we had three roam teams, 3 5th and 6th grade teams. We had the 3 3rd and 4th grade teams, so it was a huge success, all around. So what a show! First and foremost, again, congratulations again to Jacob Bruno, RFA Boys Hockey, Section 3 Division I Player of the Year. Incredible accomplishment for him, and a reminder of the talent we have right here in the Mohawk Valley. Big thank you to Brandon McCaskill and Rich Bohning for joining us and sharing the vision behind the return of the Girls Valentine League. Opportunities like that just don't grow the game. They grow confidence, leadership, and community development as well. To every athlete putting in early mornings, to every coach mentoring the next generation, to every parent driving their practices and believing in their kids, we see you, I see you, and I'll keep shining a light on this for you here across the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch. So if you enjoyed today's show, make sure you subscribe to it, share it with someone you love who loves local sports, follow us across all social media platforms. I'm Coach C. This has been the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. Keep working, keep believing, keep representing the value, and we'll see you again next week here on the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody.